All right, guys, looks like we are live. Real quick, I wanted to go live a little bit before I decided to fill the draft, just so I can make some very important announcements. I'm sure a lot of y'all already know, but please, please, please get your league dues in for those Flock Dynasty Patreon leagues ASAP, guys. If y'all don't know, those are due on the 20th. So please, if you want to guarantee your spot back into one of those Flock Dynasty leagues, you need to reach out to me. If you don't know how to get your league dues in, please just shoot me a DM on Patreon. I can walk you through it. We have spots available for the new subscribers on Patreon, and they are going to be taking the orphan teams as well as some startup draft spots. But I want to maintain as many people in those current leagues as possible. I'd like to avoid having too much turnover if we can. So please, 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 guys, if y'all have not already, shoot me that DM and get your league dues in. And also, if you want to join a Dynasty Fantasy Football League, we're going to start filling those on the 21st. So also, shoot me a DM on Patreon, the exact same place. It's so easy for me to keep track of everything right there. I'm sure most of y'all already know this. I just want to triple check with everyone. But anyway, let me go through. Let me pull up the general chat real quick for the live stream. Thank y'all all so much who've decided to come in right away. Oh my God, we have a ton of people out here in notification gang. We have Noah, Beach Balls, Ryan, a different Noah, Connor, Ian, McFreakin Duncan. Thank y'all so much, guys. I see McFreakin Duncan asking, are any of these leagues going to be an auction league? No, guys, they are all going to be startup drafts. Maybe I do an auction later on this offseason, but the leagues that we are doing right now are going to be startup drafts just because I want to be able to get some solid data to share with everyone on these leagues. But anyway, let me grab y'all a link for Patreon. Y'all know the deal. If you want to join this mock draft right now, please shoot me that DM on Patreon. That's where I'm going to be sending out the links for the mock draft. And also, I'll say, if y'all are watching this as a video later on and you are wondering why you did not get notified to join the live stream so you yourself can get into this mock draft, it's because y'all most likely don't have the bell hit next to the subscribe button. So please go down there, turn on those notifications. That way you get notified as soon as we go live. You can come in here and you can hop in that mock draft. Okay, but anyway, let me send this link out real quick, guys. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Sent that link out. That should work. Let me pin that to the top just so if we have more messages, y'all do not lose it. Let me pull up Patreon real quick. I'm sure that we've had a good amount of DMs there already for people to get in to the mock draft. So let me not waste any time in doing so. Okay, so guys, if y'all sent me a DM on Patreon and I have yet to get you the link for the mock draft, please hit me up. Okay, so Nathan, sending you the link right now, my dude. Noah got you with that link. Tanner got you, my man. Now sending it out to Connor. Okay, sent all those out, guys. Please shoot me a DM ASAP on Patreon if you are wanting in this Dynasty mock draft. This one, I'm going to be drafting from the 102. Just because we've done the 101, we've done the 112, we've done the 106, we've done the 107. So I'm going to continue to try to select new areas of the mock draft where I can go through, give y'all my thought process, and just try to have a balanced approach to the entire 2021 offseason in attacking these Dynasty startup drafts. I don't want y'all to be really comfortable at one end and not every single spot. But let me go through and, okay, so Nathan says he DM'd us. Toby says he's here for the live. Tanner says he shot us that DM. Jay says Luke. Okay, let me see if we have any other questions. Okay, Anthony is asking a question. He says, bro, should I trade Aaron Jones for Clyde Edwards-Helaire? He's in it for, I'm trying to get Deandre Swift, but I haven't been able to get a full conversation with the Swift owner. What do you think? Man, yes, I would prefer having both Deandre Swift and Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Aaron Jones in a Dynasty League, given the fact they are tied to those rookie contracts. Aaron Jones is already 26 years old, the same age as Todd Gurley, and he has no contract guaranteed for 2021. We don't know if he's going to be with the Packers. Instead of extending him, they decided to hit A.J. Dillon up with a second-round pick investment in the 2020 NFL Draft. So the future is uncertain with Aaron Jones. I would love to move him for one of those rookie running backs. I would prefer DeAndre Swift over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I actually just recorded a video where I break down my cornerstone running back rankings. That's going to include the 2020 and the 2021 draft classes. That video should come out in probably about 3 days or so. Just be on the lookout for that. Let me go through real quick, send out these links. Tia Kappa, hitting you up, my man. Perfect, got you. Okay, Justin sending you that link. JJ sending you the link as well. Okay, guys, also, if y'all shot me a DM on Patreon wanting in this mock draft and I've yet to hit you up with a link, please let me know. Okay, so Tyler shot you that link. And also, guys, I will say, by far and away, I know I say this a lot, but it's because it's true, and I owe y'all a massive thank you. I mean, we have 40 people watching right now live, and we have over 20 likes on the stream. You are not going to find that on any other YouTube channel on YouTube. I don't care if it's football. I don't care if it's video games. I don't care if it's a makeup tutorial. You are not going to find a view to like ratio like we have here at the Flock. And that obviously has nothing to do with me. It's 100% due to y'all, and I appreciate it so much for y'all supporting the channel the way y'all do. Y'all are what is making us get so many new subscribers every single day. Let me see how many more spots we have available in the mock draft. Okay, we have 3 spots available in the mock draft. The mock draft should be kicked off in about 9 minutes or so. So please, if y'all have not already, go down there, shoot me that DM on Patreon, get one of those spots so we can get this going. Okay, so let's see. Katie says, already have my Dynasty team. When are you going to do a rookie mock draft? Okay, so with the rookie mock draft, I know we've had a ton of requests for it. Really, I am wanting to wait as long as I can, possibly see if we are going to have the NFL Combine, because without the Combine, without having those solid draft projections on where these prospects should be going in the NFL draft, it's going to be very hard for me to set up a concrete list that's not going to drastically change within the coming months. So maybe I'll do a way too early and just put a massive disclaimer at the beginning saying, hey, this is most likely going to change a ton after the NFL Combine, if we get a Combine this year. And once we have legitimate projections on what rounds those running backs should be going in and what ranges we should see the wide receivers going off the board. But yeah. Let me go through also and see if we have any more messages on Patreon. Let me know if y'all are that intrigued in seeing a rookie mock draft. I mean, I would like to wait so we can get some more data points so I have something behind my takes, not just me going, I feel like this, I feel like that, I feel like this. But yeah, let me know if y'all would prefer a way too early one regardless. Okay, Tio, super happy to have you out here, my man. Okay, so let me see if we have any more DMs on Patreon. No, we do not. So what I'll do here is we have 2 spots left in the Dynasty mock draft. I'm going to wait 8 or so minutes. Ask me any Dynasty fantasy football questions that y'all have. And if we make it 8 minutes without me getting any other DMs on Patreon, then I'll just send that link out in the general chat so y'all can come through and y'all can fill those spots up real quick. Okay, but let me see if y'all have any questions. Okay, I see JN says my Casey Thompson videos 36-0 likes to dislikes. Man, that is absolutely crazy. And I mean, the like to view ratio here is what blows my mind. Obviously, I understand that we are most likely going to have like close to 100, if not 99% of likes like we do on every video. But what you don't see, like, because that happens on fantasy football channels, that happens on other YouTube channels. You just don't see people, like 46 people watching a live stream and 33 likes on the stream. That just never happens, and it's 100% because of y'all. Okay. So let me go through. Okay, Ernest is asking how we can get in here, man. Please just go to that link that I have on the top of the chat. Please just shoot me that DM on Patreon. Okay, so Kayleen is coming in, says, would you send DK Metcalf and the rookie 110 for DeAndre Swift? Coming from someone who loves DeAndre Swift, who had DeAndre Swift as his #1 running back going into the NFL draft this time last year. No, I would prefer DK Metcalf and the rookie pick. Okay, so Logan's asking, what do you think about Taylor Henneke in Dynasty? I picked him up. Man, I guess you can say he's worth a roster spot in the Superflex League, but he's definitely not going to be a long-term answer there for the Washington football team. I'd be surprised if he starts more than 2 games this next year. Okay, so let's go through. And James coming in with our first donation. Thank you so much, James. And you're just saying, just stopping by to show you some love. Been busy lately. Love the grind. Thank you so much, man. I see that our alert box didn't pop up. Let me go through and fix that. Super happy to see you out here, man. And you better be getting in one of these Dynasty Fantasy Football Leagues with us this offseason. I know we talked about it throughout the entire football season in 2020. Please, man, come out here. I need you in a league. I'm going to crush you. I promise. Okay, but anyway, Ian coming out says, new to Dynasty this year, do you complete your rookie draft before they get drafted in real life? Personally, no. I prefer to wait to have the rookie draft until the day after we have the real NFL draft. The flock leagues operate a little bit different in the timeline of when we draft those rookies by round. It's very exciting. I am just genuinely, I genuinely can't wait to have y'all in there. Okay, but anyway, we have 2 spots left. Let me see if we got any more DMs on Patreon for anybody to take those last 2. Okay, so Jesse DMing us for one of those spots, getting you out the link right now, my dude. Okay, so we have 1 spot left, guys. If y'all want that last spot, please make sure y'all go out there and shoot me that DM on Patreon. Okay, so Trey coming out says, what's the value of a top 10 running back versus a young top 10 quarterback? Okay, first off, I'll say, based on the adjective that you used describing the quarterback, please, please, please do not be worried about age when it comes to the quarterback position. I mean, someone like Russell Wilson, who is still in his early 30s, is going to hold a significant amount of value, even though he's quote-unquote old. But it's because those quarterbacks last so long in the NFL right now, especially with how these doctors are able to get them back on the field after significant injuries. I mean, just look at Alex Smith. I know we're obviously not talking about anything like that with Russell Wilson, but it's a prime example in how long we can expect these quarterbacks' shelf lives to last. So I'll say with the young stud running back, if it's a Jonathan Taylor, if it's a Deandre Swift, a Saquon Barkley, generally I am always going to be preferring those over the quarterback options, even in a super flex league, just because it's the hardest position to come by and you know exactly what you're going to have on a week-to-week basis. Okay. So let me go through, and Bryant saying, I'm not sure I like a Kamara situation if Breeze retires. Could you possibly give me some players I should move him for? Okay, first off, let me thank real quick Gotham for coming out here and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for deciding to join the flock, my man. And secondly, if we're looking to move Alvin Kamara, like the players I just talked about, those running backs still on their rookie contracts, I would love to move Alvin Kamara for Jonathan Taylor. I would love to move Alvin Kamara for DeAndre Swift plus a small piece, which I think is entirely possible. Okay, so let me see real quick. We have 1 spot left. Let me see if we got that last DM on Patreon. Okay, yep, Trey came through, hit us with that DM. Let me get you the link, my man. Okay, so once Trey joins, Jeremy, we should be 100% good to go, guys. If y'all don't know by now, Jeremy is the guy who runs all of these mock drafts. He is doing me a fantastic favor as well as all of y'all. He is collecting ADP from these mock drafts that we are running. He is creating an ADP list that should be available to y'all soon on Patreon. It's not only going to be for Patreon members. That will just be the easiest place for me to put the sheet for everybody to view, regardless of if you're a Patreon member or not. So yeah, I'm very excited to bring y'all that free Dynasty ADP that Jeremy is doing a fantastic job in helping us collect. Okay, so Seth coming out says, what happened to all your vids on your normal channel? You only have 11. Okay, man, real quick, guys, I'll say this, and this is completely different between the redraft and the Dynasty channel. The reason the Dynasty videos stay up throughout the course of the entire offseason is because a Dynasty video that I recorded 2 months ago, and not necessarily at this point because the NFL season is still going, but at least a video that I record today is still going to be relevant 2 months from now, where if you have that video recommended to you on YouTube, you can go out there, you can click on that video and still find valid information that's going to help you in your Dynasty League. Whereas on the redraft channel, what happens is YouTube doesn't understand that that information is not up to date. That is completely useless, and nobody is going to be going and clicking on a recommended video. So what happens is they recommend the videos anyway because YouTube does not understand that in the algorithm. Say nobody's going to click on a waiver wire week 4 video. When nobody clicks on that waiver wire week 4 video because it's no longer relevant, it drives down the click-through rate in the YouTube algorithm, which hurts the overall grade of the channel. So the next video that I upload has a less chance of getting recommended to a new listener. So that's why for the redraft channel, after the video becomes irrelevant, it gets taken down. That's why I still have videos up like my biggest misses, my biggest hits, because those videos still are relevant. Those are videos that people can still go out there and watch and take something away from. But the videos that are like must starts, must bench, redraft, waiver wire, that's just not relevant. So there's no reason for those videos to be public. But yeah. Okay, so it looks like this mock draft is full. Let's get this going, Jeremy. Let me shoot you a text real quick. Okay, last time I accidentally exposed Jeremy's number, so we're not going to do that again. Let me switch this over real quick, my dudes. That way we can get this thing going. Okay, let me see if we can scroll over here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We are going to be drafting from the 102. We are full, guys, and I want to thank everybody for coming out here to watch this mock draft. Should be a ton of fun. I already know who I'm going to be going with at the 102, as I'm sure a lot of y'all know as well if you have been watching our videos as of late. But we are just waiting for any second now for Jeremy to go out there and hit us with that start. And there we are, started. Seed money is now on the clock. I'm assuming that this pick is going to be Patrick Mahomes. That is pretty much the standard pick in these Dynasty Superflex startups, as Mahomes is in a completely different tier of any other quarterback at this point in Dynasty Superflex. And at the same time, I mean, these running backs, these wide receivers, they're not going to be giving you anything close to the long-term security as well as the short-term upside as a Patrick Mahomes. So he is definitely a player that should be going off the board with the first pick every single time. Now, at the 102, y'all can tell if y'all look down here at the ADP list, I mean, we have Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Adams, Ezekiel Elliott as the top 10 options according to ADP. Now, I'll say Sleeper has a very bad list of ADP, and that's why Jeremy and I are creating a new one from these mock drafts that we can share with y'all. But instead of going with any of those guys at the top, we are going to be going with someone still on his rookie contract who I perceive to be the most talented running back in the entire NFL. I dove deep on him on one of our recent videos where I discuss who my #1 running back in Dynasty is. But spoiler alert, it is Saquon Barkley. I mean, if you look at what Saquon Barkley can do in the passing game, you look at the fact that really outside of a high ankle sprain last year and the torn ACL at the very beginning of this season, Saquon Barkley has managed to stay relatively healthy throughout the course of his football career. So I have no concerns with injuries with Saquon Barkley. And I think that he is a safe long-term asset with that short-term upside, very similar to Patrick Mahomes, just at a different position. Okay. Yeah, Tio Kappa coming out says Sleeper's ADP is worse than Carson Wentz's 2020 outcome. Yes, sir, man. I mean, this is embarrassing by Sleeper. This is a Dynasty startup setting. And right now, I mean, they have, just say, Ezekiel Elliott over Deandre Swift. You're not going to find a single person who knows what they are doing in Dynasty Fantasy Football that would prefer to have Zeke over Deandre Swift at this point. I mean, there are countless examples of this. I mean, having Derrick Henry ahead of Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Sleeper really has a horrendous ADP list. That's why we are creating our own ADP list, like I said, that hopefully can help you all a little bit more when you are drafting in your Dynasty startups this offseason. Okay, so Berto coming out says he loves these mocks. Ernest saying, I'm going to cry. I guess he did not get in. I'm very sorry, man. Anthony, yes, all the spots are taken. Guys, I am very sorry if you were unable to get into the mock draft. Just please make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel. Make sure y'all have that bell hit next to the subscribe button. That is more important than anything. And getting notified whenever we go live so y'all can come in right away. Okay, but Noah takes Jonathan Taylor. Point God takes Kyler Murray. Both picks, I believe, to be very standard. Honestly, this is almost exactly how I would have my own Dynasty startup rankings, besides having Alvin Kamara a few spots behind Jonathan Taylor and Kyler Murray. I really like this start. In my opinion, the running back that I would prefer seeing coming off the board next would be a Deandre Swift. There he goes. I was going to predict it was going to be Dalvin Cook, but I guess we have some people in this mock draft that are with me in wanting to avoid those veteran running backs who are coming into their age 26 season and preferring the guys attached to their rookie contracts who have long-term upside. Okay, very intriguing situation here with Nathan Bierman deciding to take Lamar Jackson at the 109. I mean, I think that Lamar Jackson in most leagues is going to be going a little bit later than this, and I think he can present a good value at the beginning of the second round instead of the end of the first round in these dynasty startup drafts. I mean, I want to make sure that we have these other elite running backs like Dalvin Cook already off the board, but just an interesting selection there. And I'll say real quick, guys, for anybody just now joining who are possibly not comfortable or not familiar with these dynasty mock drafts that we host very, very often, you are going to see something this year in these dynasty startup drafts. You are going to see running back, quarterback, running back, quarterback, running back, quarterback going off the board for the first few rounds before you have any wide receivers. And it's because the quarterbacks and the running backs dry up so quickly that really, if you are taking a player like Justin Jefferson over Justin Herbert in the first or second round, you are doing your team a great disservice compared to the wide receivers that would be available in rounds 3, 4, and 5 for your team, compared to the quarterbacks in that range where there is that sharp drop off at quarterback where it does not exist with wide receiver. So what you are going to find is you are going to find the majority of these wide receivers falling so far down these draft boards where I can almost guarantee you that at the 211, I'm possibly going to be looking at a Devontae Adams. I'm going to be looking at a Tyreek Hill if we have the majority of the running backs off the board, just because we may have no other options. Now, possibly we end up seeing other dynasty mock drafts or dynasty startup drafts that y'all participate in be a little bit different. Maybe if they're not with members of the flock who kind of have a good understanding of what they're doing because they are serious players. They're out here doing their own research and putting in the time to understand how they should be attacking these drafts. And that's what we're doing right now, is practicing attacking these dynasty startup drafts so we can hit these very hard throughout the course of the offseason. I mean, if you're with some casuals who don't know what they're doing, yeah, you're going to see some wide receivers going off the board in the first and second round. I don't think you should, though. So pray that your opponents take a Justin Jefferson. Pray that they take a Davante Adams in the first round, and possibly you get a player like DeAndre Swift or Clyde Edwards-Helaire falling to you. Okay, so it looks like we have a quarterback run going off the board. Going to be very interested to see who we have at our disposal at the 211. Maybe we're forced into a little bit of a no quarterback start just based on the fact that they are going at an extreme premium right now, with both TK Boss and Jesse taking 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow from DeBoss. And this is a very interesting start if he decides to load up with young assets later on in the draft, instead of going with some veterans that should give him production right away. I think that's kind of what you have to do when you invest into those 2 young studs, instead of getting guys who are going to be scoring points in 2021. And real quick, guys, let me know in the general chat, please. I am so interested in your opinion. What do you think of Deshaun Watson and his current situation? Where do you think he should be valued in these dynasty startup drafts? Because personally, I would easily have Russell Wilson over Deshaun Watson. And I know he could have easily gone over him in this dynasty startup draft, just because Jesse took them back-to-back. Really did not matter the order. But in the majority of these other mock drafts we've been seeing, Deshaun Watson has been going ahead of Russell Wilson. Maybe I am just too high on Russ. Maybe I just don't understand the value of age at the quarterback position. But based on my experience in playing in Dynasty, I would much prefer the quarterback that we've seen have that career high of efficiency season. I mean, every season he has close to the top of the league in efficiency. Yeah, I prefer Russell Wilson over Deshaun Watson, who, if he stays in Houston, is going to have the worst weapons in the entire NFL. And if he leaves Houston, I mean, that could be a major change. But anyway, okay, so Tyler says, I know his plan already. So yeah, I'm assuming the men you were going to be going with that young talent after loading up with Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. Okay, so we have Deadpool's coming out, says, I traded Clyde Edwards-Helaire in my 106 rookie for Deshaun Watson in a Superflex league. Hope I did okay. My quarterbacks were trash. Brady, Big Ben, and Trubisky. Only one that was okay was Tua, so I needed a top quarterback. Man, I really don't like that trade, Deadpulse. Man, I really wish you would have hit me up on Patreon. I know you asked me a ton of questions throughout the course of the day, and I'm always excited to give you my thoughts. But yeah, I do not like the idea of adding on the 106 to Clyde Edwards-Helaire to get Deshaun Watson, even in the Superflex League, given the fact that if you're looking at the 106 this season in a Superflex rookie draft, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, you are going to have access to one of the top 2 wide receivers, top 2 running backs, or top 2 quarterbacks. They're all in a top tier where you have Trevor Lawrence, you have Justin Fields at the quarterback position, you have Travis Etienne and Najee Harris at running back, you have Devontae Smith, and you have Jamar Chase at wide receiver. So I do not like giving up that 106 pick, but we are about to be up on the clock at the 102. This is going to be a very difficult decision as some of our prime targets have gone off the board already in a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Cam Akers, and Antonio Gibson. Y'all know the type of players that I am consistently targeting. But there's one guy that I am kind of looking at right now and going, you know what? Do I just push my chips in the middle? Do I just try to win in 2021, build a competitive team, and see where that gets me? And I think because we have not already done that in one of these Dynasty mock drafts, it would be interesting to see me build a competitive 2021 team in this one. So that's what we're going to do with the value falling to us of Derrick Henry with the 211. Now I'll say, depending on team construction, I would prefer some other running backs over Derrick Henry in Dynasty, like a Nick Chubb, like a Miles Sanders, possibly even a Joe Mixon. But what we are doing here is we are trying to push our chips in to win now. We are building a competitive team for this season. And really the reason I want to do this is because we have not already for one of these videos. So I think it will be a good learning point in me going through and breaking this down. But if we look at the quarterback position, I mean, after Rodgers is off the board at the 209, really there are no guys that I'm willing on reaching for with the 302, as there's Tua, Jalen Hurts, Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff as the best available quarterbacks. And I definitely would prefer having some of these other running backs. But something I love to see, we have C Money coming out here, taking A.J. Brown as the wide receiver 1 overall. Very intriguing selection. This is the first time we've seen A.J. Brown go off at the wide receiver 1, and I definitely do not hate it. I could even say that I love it. But we have some value falling to us here. If we are going to be building to win now, we are going to be taking a running back that I generally think is overvalued in some of these Dynasty mock drafts. He's definitely fallen down the board after we've done a few of these, and I've kind of just expressed why I think that he was going too earlier on. But at this point, if you're building a win now team, I think Nick Chubb at the 302 does make a ton of sense. So now we have 3 elite level running backs for the 2021 season. And if we can find that veteran wide receiver production later on in the draft, especially if we can find some quarterbacks at a discount, I mean, good luck stopping Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Nick Chubb. Okay, so let's go through and let me see. Tio Kappa says Wilson hasn't finished outside the top 10 in 9 years. Yeah, man, I mean, Russell Wilson is by far and away one of the best values in Dynasty Superflex leagues right now. I mean, we were talking about this earlier on Discord. I mean, right now, Russell Wilson, just year over year over year, he's going in the second round of these Dynasty startup drafts. And we are seeing players jump up and down ahead of him, but he has been the main force staying there early on. But anyway, Jaden coming in says, how can I do one of these if I am a Patreon member? Jaden, first off, thank you so much for being a Patreon member. Thank you for deciding to support the channel. And thank you for donating on top of that. And I'll say, Jaden, man, how we do these mock drafts is really, it's just up to when do I have time available? And I know that sounds like such a douchey thing for me to say, but I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I said this in a video that comes out in a few days from now. Right now, I am going to be graduating from the University of Texas after the semester. If y'all don't know by now, I am graduating with 2 separate degrees. So what that requires from me is that requires me to take a ton of classes with a ton of hours. So this semester I am taking 22 hours, which if y'all don't go to college, if y'all don't really understand what goes on, most people take about 12 hours. So I'm taking pretty much double the regular student workload. I'm doing this with upper division science classes as well. So they're generally a lot more difficult than the average college course. So my time this semester is going to be extremely limited. I'm running this channel. I'm running the fantasy basketball channel as well. So what I will say is with these Dynasty mock drafts, I'm going to probably try to do about 1 to 2 a week. but they're going to be mainly random when I can go out here and do them. So if you want to get in one, man, you just have to turn on that bell next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified as soon as we go live. That way you can run over. And what will happen is for the first 15 minutes, generally, that's how long it takes me to fill these Dynasty mock drafts. I am just taking DMs on Patreon, and as soon as you shoot me that DM, man, I send you the link to join the Dynasty mock draft. So yeah, pretty much you just have to get here early. I'm very sorry, Jaden, that you were unable to make this one. I'm definitely going to continue to try to do as many as I can. But like I said, I mean, my time is going to be very, very limited this semester, and I'm very sorry about it. I wish I could just drop out and do this all the time, but with, I mean, maybe if we had way more support on Patreon, that wouldn't be a possibility, but right now it does not look like it. But anyway, let me go through, and yeah, thank you so much, man, for deciding to support the channel on Patreon. And also, guys, we've already cracked 51 likes on this live stream. We've been live streaming for less than 30 minutes now. That is absolutely ridiculous, and I owe y'all a massive thank you. But anyway, man, Tio, point guard, I have to give you some crap here. How are you taking Tua at the 306? I cannot get behind this selection, my man. I mean, what other quarterbacks are available right now? I would prefer having Ryan Tannehill. It really would not be close. I'm not saying that Tua is the next Dwayne Haskins. I'm not saying that he is the next Josh Rosen. But with Tua, I mean, there are reasons to be concerned. This is a quarterback that had elite options at Alabama every single season there. And man, you know, I mean, you are a massive fan of Alabama. I mean, they had Devin Smith, they had Jalen Waddle, they had Jerry Judy, they had Henry Ruggs, they had Josh Jacobs, they had Najee Harris, they had Irv Smith Jr. I mean, Tua clearly leaned on that supporting cast to be able to be the high pedigree quarterback that he was. And I think based on his struggles, his rookie season in Miami, combined with the fact that Ryan Fitzmagic kind of outplayed him. I mean, there's no way to escape that. I don't think you can be taking Tua over a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill, who's had so high of efficiency marks the past 2 years. Okay, but JN coming in with our next donation. Thank you, my man. Your question here is there a separate rookie draft in Dynasty? Yes, sir. So how it's going to work for our Dynasty startup drafts, in my opinion, this is by far and away the best way that you can operate in your Dynasty startup drafts. Is what we will be doing is you will be drafting rookie picks in those rookie slots in your Dynasty startup draft. So say right here, instead of Jesse wanting to take Deshaun Watson, say he wanted to take Trevor Lawrence, what he would do is he would select the rookie 101 pick, and then later on in the offseason after the NFL draft, that is when we would host a separate rookie draft where he could go out there and he could take Trevor Lawrence there. And then you do that all the way down for every single rookie pick. So instead of Derrick Henry, say I wanted to target a running back like Najee Harris, and the rookie pick 103 fell to me, I would take the rookie pick 103 instead of Derrick Henry, and then that would be on my roster until we had the rookie draft after the NFL draft. I really hope that is going to explain a little bit of what I was trying to. But anyway, let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, so Tia Kappa is saying Tua will eat. Devontae Smith will help him this year. Man, Tua could easily be in Houston a year from now with no weapons in the slightest. So it's going to be very, very intriguing. But have you read the reports from the Miami Dolphins players saying that they did not want Tua starting, that they wanted Ryan Fitzmagic starting, that they really have no faith in him in the long term? And these are quotes coming out from the players of the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I can't get excited about Tua. I mean, he was a quarterback I did not necessarily like coming into the NFL draft. I'm sure you know that I was getting clowned on by saying that I preferred Justin Herbert over him before the NFL draft. But yeah, I mean, Tua, just so many question marks circling him right now. But Anthony says, I'm 3 minutes late, just to let y'all know. Okay, so let me see if we have any other questions. Jacob asking, what kind of value are we putting on Damian Harris this upcoming year? Not sure what I can trade him for. Man, right now, Damian Harris is really not holding any value, and there's a couple reasons with this. One, Damian Harris is never really going to profile to be a feature down running back. I thought that he could have been that before we saw him kind of fail in 2020. And I know he looked like a better pure runner over Sony Michel, which is not saying much to begin with. But what I did not like to see is I did not like to see the limited usage in the receiving game. I thought that Damian Harris was going to be able to be a running back that could go out there and catch some balls out of the backfield. And no, he really just stepped right into that Sony Michel role. And in PPR formats, if he is not getting the usage in the receiving game, I kind of have no interest in Damian Harris. Okay, so real quick, it looks like we have some people auto-selecting. So if that does not get fixed soon, we are going to have to find replacements. So guys, please stick in and just wait it out. Maybe you can find a spot in this mock draft taking over for Tyler if he is unable to make it back. Just because I really don't want that to be an auto spot for the rest of the draft. Kind of ruins it in my opinion. I mean, but we see Trey Whipp coming out and having a very intriguing start, kind of doing something similar to what I am in competing right away with 3 running backs out the bat. He gets his quarterback in Baker Mayfield at the 403, which I really like the value on. But in my opinion, the best value that we've seen in this draft so far has been Joe Mixon at the 401 by Jesse. Man, I love seeing that selection. Joe Mixon is so much younger than most people want to assume. Last I checked, I believe he's 24. Yep, 24 years old. I mean, he was in the 2017 NFL draft class, but he came out at 20 years old. I mean, absolutely ridiculous getting that type of value on Joe Mixon, who should be 100% healthy and 100% good to go this upcoming year. Okay, let me slide this draft board over a little bit, and we are going to be faced with a tough decision at the 411. There are 2 guys that stick out ahead of everyone else, in my opinion. Let's see if they fall to us. I doubt it. We are 4 picks away. But yeah, I mean, we can hope. Jayan, you better not be sniping me on this, my man, which I am assuming you are going to be doing. But right now, if we look at best player available, you have Travis Kelce, who is one of our picks that we were hoping was going to slide to us. Kelce is a player that I think you can entertain selling in Dynasty formats right now, but he would have fit this roster so nicely considering that we were a win-now team. So don't like seeing him go off the board at the 408. Best players available according to ADP are Michael Thomas, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Darren Waller, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Chris Carson, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Judy, and DJ Moore. Really not going to be looking at the running back position as one. I don't perceive any value to be had there with all of the 3-down guys already going off the board who have guaranteed contracts this upcoming season. Also, we already have 3 bell cow running backs, so there's no point in going out there and getting a 4th. Now, y'all know I want to say a quick snarky comment about Nick Chubb not being a bell cow. Nick Chubb more so being a committee running back. But Jeremy coming out here and sniping us with Ryan Tannehill in the 4th. Now, I take back what I said about Joe Mixon being the best value in this draft at the 401. Ryan Tannehill at the 409 is superb. Man, congrats on that selection. I think with Jeremy having the stack of Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, then getting that value of Ryan Tannehill in the 4th, he definitely has my favorite draft so far. But let's see what falls to us down here at the 411. And honestly, if we were looking at quarterback, I really wanted Tannehill or Kelce to fall to us. We got neither. I'm not going to be willing to reach on a Jared Goff, a Matt Ryan, a Tom Brady, a Matthew Stafford. I'd rather just see what falls to us later on in the draft. Running back, don't love any of the options available. Darren Waller, I think, is someone that we need to be a little bit more hesitant around, just assuming that Bryan Edwards is going to be able to get on the field and command targets this upcoming season. So what we are going to do is continue to go win now, and we are going to take a wide receiver who had a horrendous year. But we're going to take Michael Thomas, who was the wide receiver 1 overall a season ago. He was the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty startup drafts as well. And now he's going as the, let's count this out. We got A.J. Brown over him, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Michael Thomas. So he's going around the wide receiver 12. So a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. I think that's a fair price to pay with Michael Thomas. Not someone that I'm aggressively targeting in these Dynasty startup drafts, especially with the news that he does require surgery this offseason. But if we are going to be looking to fit him on a roster that is win now with Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, I think Michael Thomas makes a ton of sense. Definitely we are looking to go wide receiver in this range, as that is where the value is. But let's see where C Money decides to go. Hopefully he does not time out. He has 5 seconds left on the clock. Come on, my man. Get this selection in. Please do not time out. So he times out. No idea what he's going to. He gets DJ Moore. That would have been our pick at the 502. I mean, how are you going to time out and get my man DJ Moore? We'll see if he's able to make a selection here at the 501. I almost want to take that pick away because I wanted that to fall to us. But anyway. Okay, so Tia Kappa coming out says, Mason, I think you should reduce it to 30 seconds after a few rounds. Man, here, I mean, I'll say that is something I would love to do. Obviously, I'm paying 100% attention to this. But the problem is you see a lot of people taking until like 10 seconds left are on their clock before they make their selection. So I think that would mess it up for a good amount of people. And here, now that we have DJ Moore off the board, I mean, I think the selection is going to be Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin, or possibly even Jared Goff, even though I don't want to go with Jared Goff. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is actually a difficult choice. Obviously, Allen Robinson's a free agent, as well as Chris Godwin. Terry McLaurin's tied to possibly the worst quarterback situation in the entire NFL. Oh my gosh, can we go anywhere else? Should we go with a Jared Goff, guys? Let me know what y'all think in the general chat. I'm gonna have to make this pick before any of your messages show up anyway. But I think we are going to be going with wide receiver. We're going to be punting quarterback. So we're going to be trying a couple different things in the startup draft. And I think we are going to be going with Terry McLaurin, someone who has a very stable situation as the alpha wide receiver target in Washington. I honestly could make the pivot to go over to Chris Godwin or Allen Robinson just 10 seconds from now. I think all of these wide receivers are so close and in the same tier, which is generally why I prefer waiting on wide receiver. But let's see where we have other players fall in the draft. Maybe we have a second shot at someone with the 6'11". Okay, so it looks like the majority of y'all in the general chat would have taken Allen Robinson, and that's actually what we see JN do the pick after mine. The thing is, with Allen Robinson, I mean, I am just worried that he is going to find himself in Green Bay, and I know a lot of people are going to say, Mason, with Allen Robinson, if he goes to Green Bay, that's going to be a fantastic landing spot. He's going to be playing with the best quarterback of his entire career, which will definitely be true, at least the quarterback part. But I have question marks surrounding how much of the team's target share would he be able to see. With we obviously know they want to limit the pass attempts, maybe lean a little bit more on the running game with the personnel decisions that they've decided to make over the past 2 seasons, combined with the fact that Davante Adams is going to be the alpha there for Aaron Rodgers. But anyway, let me go through, and Tyler is saying, I am looking to trade Tyreek Hill, LaMichael P. Ryan, and Curtis Samuel, and the 2.07 for A.J. Brown, DJ Chark, and Josh Jacobs. My other running backs are, man, I honestly don't even care your other running backs are. This is an absolute steal. I mean, Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown are so close in Dynasty, we can call that just a straight-up wash. Take them out of the equation, and you are trying to trade LaMichael P. Ryan, Curtis Samuel, and the 207 for DJ Chark and Josh Jacobs. Tyler, man, you are straight up robbing the other guy. I don't know if you got offered. I don't know if that trade is in talks. But, I mean, Tia Kappa, I'm pretty sure, is in here just squirming, hearing someone talk that badly about his man, Josh Jacobs. So, yeah, man, go get Josh Jacobs. That is an absurd price if you can do so. JN coming in says Allen Robinson is better than Davante Adams. Honestly, JN, I know a lot of people are going to view that message as a troll message, and I'm definitely not just saying this because of it being a donation, and you know that we are buddies. But anyway, you know I will come after you if I think you do something dumb. I don't even think that's a dumb statement. I think if you look at what Allen Robinson has been able to accomplish with Blake Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky, as well as Nick Foles, I mean, you could make the argument that in a parallel world where both of these wide receivers were selected in the 2014 wide receiver draft class, if you don't know, Allen Robinson out of Penn State was a fantastic wide receiver prospect. I mean, if we had Robinson to Green Bay, maybe Allen Robinson is viewed as the best wide receiver in the NFL. And if Davante Adams went to play with Blake Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky, who knows how that career would have gone. So I'm not even going to argue with you there, my man. But anyway, Hawkinson going off the board at the 506. Honestly, based on what kind of tight end value that you can find later on in the draft, while I love TJ Hawkinson, the player, while I think that he can step up into being that elite level tight end, given his red zone usage, combined with the fact that he can play after the catch, I don't like the fact that you are reaching on TJ Hawkinson over wide receivers like Amari Cooper or Brandon Ayuk. I mean, there are so many wide receivers I prefer over the tight end there, my man Tia. But, so Tio Kappa coming in says, both Godwin and Mike Evans snipe. Shake my head. Man, you are the biggest Tom Brady fanboy there is. I don't think there's someone bigger. I mean, I think that with both Godwin and Evans, they were clearly the best wide receivers available on the board. But I know what you were thinking there. You should have gone with Amari Cooper, my man. Okay. So anyway, let me go through and let me see. Seth is saying, what do you think about James Robinson in Dynasty? Is he a top 20 running back? Clearly a top 20 running back in my opinion. And I'll say real quick with James Robinson, guys, generally I am always the player, especially earlier on in my Dynasty career about 5 years ago. I was always the guy saying, sell, sell, sell these undrafted free agents. I mean, the Robert Foster, the Philip Lindsay, after they have their big rookie season, if they're an undrafted free agent that does not have that much draft pedigree, I am always scared because I'm saying, I mean, if 32 NFL franchises, if 32 NFL front offices and scouting departments passed on this player, they're most likely not good. They're most likely just running hot in the situation that they had in their rookie season. But in the case of James Robinson, I think this is a different situation. I mean, I think that James Robinson is legit. If you filter out what he was able to do in his rookie season for 60 rushing yards a game, combined with the fact that he had 30 receiving yards a game at the same time, I mean, James Robinson is a historically great rookie running back. I mean, better than any other running back that has come into the NFL outside of players like Le'Veon Bell and elite category players like that. I mean, it's not even close to these other undrafted free agents with a Philip Lindsay. Obviously, they have Trevor Lawrence coming into Jacksonville this upcoming season. So there are a ton of reasons to be excited about a player like James Robinson. So while, yes, usually I'm the guy screaming to sell the undrafted free agent, in the case of James Robinson, I actually like him as a buy or a hold. Okay, so Tyler coming out says, thoughts on Rashad Penny, Mason? I mean, guys, with Rashad Penny, I think that he can be one of the best values in Dynasty. Currently, a lot of people have forgot about the running back who was selected in the first round by the Seattle Seahawks in the 2018 draft coming out of San Diego State. And this running back looks like he could possibly step in to a starter role for the Seattle Seahawks. Chris Carson was in the 2017 class, so he is currently not signed for the Seattle Seahawks as his rookie contract is up. And if you look at the injury history with Chris Carson, we really have no certainty that he is going to be with the Seattle Seahawks next year. If you look at the team investment, clearly they are significantly invested in Rashad Penny. You can't say the same thing about DJ Dallas or Travis Homer, both Miami running backs that they've taken in back-to-back draft classes, that neither one of them really have the draft capital to go about them. So if you look at Rashad Penny, also with what he's been able to do when he can touch the ball, when he is healthy, I mean, he's electric, he is dynamic, he's going to be playing in one of the best offenses in football. There are a ton of reasons to get excited about Rashad Penny. But anyway, okay, we see Trey coming out, says, I mean, taking Tom Brady at the 603. Let's look at the other players that were available on the board, specifically the quarterback position. So Tom Brady here is going ahead of Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. I hate this pick. I hate it so much because you are assuming a couple things here by taking Tom Brady over these other quarterbacks. One, you are assuming that Tom Brady is 100% coming back in 2021, which we cannot say with certainty. And two, you are saying that not only is he coming back in 2021, but he is going to outproduce players that he did not outproduce in 2020, which I see no reason to be expecting that in the slightest. I mean, Tom Brady is a player that should not be going off the board for the next 5 rounds. Clearly, I am building a win-now team here with Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and I would not have even considered Tom Brady with my next 2 selections. Really don't like the pick of Brady there, especially when Beerman's coming out and getting Kenny Golladay at such a great value at the 604. Love the Golladay pick. In my opinion, probably the best selection of the 6th round so far. Probably the best selection in the past, I want to say 2 rounds, as Golladay is a player that is so close to Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, that tier of wide receivers that was going off the board at the very beginning of the 5th. I mean, he is a superb value. Personally, I want him to stay in Detroit so he can see a very high target share going into 2021. But even if he does leave, I mean, he is one of the premier talents at the wide receiver position. Okay. So real quick, guys, if y'all have not subscribed to the channel already, please go down there, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out so much. I have no idea how many subscribers we are at currently, but I am wanting to get to 3,000 subscribers by the time we get to January. That would be absolutely massive. And anyway, we have Deontay Johnson coming off the board at the 608. So we had Claypool, Juju, then Deontay in this draft. Very intriguing in the order that they were selected in. Now we are going to be up on the board in 2 picks. Now, clearly there is a player that I have my eye on. Hopefully we see him fall to me. Okay, so let's go through. And Chris Carson at the 609. Jeremy Matt, really don't like that selection there. I mean, with Chris Carson, he's a player that has suffered injuries throughout the course of his entire NFL career, combined with the fact that he has no contract in 2021 and no pedigree at the same time. I mean, I would much prefer pretty much anywhere else going on your roster. I would have rather you gone with Julio Jones, Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Michael Pittman, Jerry Judy. I would have rather you gone with a different running back, to be honest. Okay, but here looks like the quarterback that we had to pass on with our 5th round pick was going to make it all the way back to us at the 611. This is a dream spot where we are going to be taking Jared Goff as our 6th round pick. So now our start is Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, then Jared Goff. Obviously, this is a super flex dynasty startup draft, as you are seeing players like Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray all go in the 1st round, and they would definitely fall further than that if this was a 1 quarterback league. But yeah, Jared Goff at the 611, clearly he's not a good NFL starting quarterback, but you look at the contract that the Los Angeles Rams gave Jared Goff, and it kind of dictates that he is their starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. But now we have C Money coming up on the board, has yet to take a running back, but you look at the running back picks available, and you have Kenyon Drake, Zach Moss, Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. Really nobody that you're getting excited about. So personally, I'm not wanting to go to running back, which he decides to pass on. I love that decision. I know it looks really scary and possibly dumb to some of y'all in the stream right now for him to pass on a running back after 7 rounds. But when you don't have the value falling to you, I mean, I can't blame you on deciding to continue to pass on those running backs. So I like that decision. And here we are definitely going to be looking at either Julio Jones to complete our trend of trying to win now, or we're going to be going with another quarterback here. And I think we decide to go with back-to-back quarterbacks. And I think we go with Matthew Stafford with our 7th round selection. Now, maybe in a different draft where we're building a little bit younger, I could decide to go with a Daniel Jones instead of a Matthew Stafford. But personally, I think that we have Kenny Golladay back in Detroit this season. I think Golladay should be able to stay relatively healthy, and that should be able to elevate the Detroit Lions offense combined with the coaching change. We see Deandre Swift coming into his 2nd season, TJ Hawkinson going into his 3rd year, and I think that should help out Matthew Stafford tremendously. And at the 702, I think that is a value I'm going to be excited about every single time. Okay, but real quick, let me go through, check the general chat to see if we have any questions being asked right now. And one that sticks out is going to be from Ernest, who's asking, Mason, should I trade Austin Eckler, Henry Ruggs, and a 2nd round rookie pick for Josh Jacobs? Personally, I would not. I know that Josh Jacobs is still on that rookie contract, and he was selected in the 1st round, so he has a 5th-year team option by the Las Vegas Raiders, which gives him a little bit longer of a leash in his job security. But I would still prefer to have Eckler and the other assets to be able to work with trades throughout the course of the offseason. Okay. So now let me see if we have any standout picks over the past 2 rounds outside of the Kenny Golladay selection that I really like. I mean, Jerry Judy at the 701 is a conversation that I think we can have. And here the problem with Jerry Judy is, while I definitely liked him with where his value was an offseason ago, y'all know if you've been following the channel for a while, I really did not like Courtland Sutton's value, and I do not want to make it sound like I am trying to take a victory lap on Courtland Sutton. He looked like a beast in his limited action before he suffered the injury at the very beginning of the season. Looked like I was possibly going to be wrong there. But I did like Jerry Judy last offseason compared to Sutton. And we have Sutton coming back right away in 2021, given the fact that we know he tore that ACL so early on in the season that his rehab should be 100% on progress to put him in game action for week 1. I don't like the investment into a Jerry Judy at the 701 because I mean, right now, guys, what is the upside with Jerry Jeudy? When you have Noah Fant going into his third season, when you have no quarterback situation there solved, when you have Courtland Sutton going to be battling for that wide receiver role on the same offense, you have KJ Hamler also going to be running routes and taking targets. I don't know if we can get too excited about Jerry Jeudy. Let me know what y'all think in the general chat below, though. Okay, so it looks like we have a little bit of a quarterback run happening. We take Jared Goff, then we have Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, and Jimmy G all going off the board afterwards. So I am very excited about my decision to double tap quarterbacks in the 6th and 7th round. Looked like that played out extremely nicely. And honestly, although I am not fans of Derrick Henry, I am not fans of Nick Chubb, Michael Thomas, I mean, those are players I am generally trying to avoid in Dynasty drafts. I think that, honestly, this may be one of my favorite drafts that we've had so far this offseason, just based on where the value fell to us. We weren't able to go out there and get any of our draft day targets, but we did not have to reach on any players. We just had them fall into our laps, which I think is the way we should be going about these Dynasty startup drafts. But anyway, I want to point out Julio Jones going off the board at the 7-10. I mean, that is a fantastic selection by Trey, who decided to go with a win-now strategy with Dalvin, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Ezekiel Elliott as his first 3 picks as well. So coming around and taking Julio Jones at the 7-10 really solidifies those 2021 points. So I like that decision by him. The only thing that just sticks out like a sore thumb, in my opinion, is Tom Brady at the 6-03. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I mean, if you would have gone somewhere else, I would have loved this start. Let me slide over this draft slightly so y'all can see where we are at. Let me see. Maybe if I move this down, will that help y'all see the draft board? The problem is my little screen on it. Maybe I'll move myself around. Yeah, actually, that's what I'll do. I'll just move the little screen around. But, oh my God, guys, we only have like 100 people right now watching this live stream, and we have 70 likes on the live stream. So that means 7 out of 10 of y'all have decided to go down there and drop a like. I promise y'all, you're not going to find that on any other YouTube channel. I don't care if it's a makeup tutorial, a video game player. I don't care what kind of content it is. I mean, y'all are by far and away the best audience on YouTube, and y'all are what is making us be the fastest growing Dynasty Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. And I owe y'all a massive, massive, massive thank you for deciding to non-stop smash that like button, and I really, really appreciate it. But anyway, Hollywood Brown is coming off the board here at the 7-12, and honestly, Hollywood is a player that I like in this range. I just made a video that comes out tomorrow where I'll be talking about third-year wide receivers and what players I think can make a jump, what players I think are going to be stuck in a range where we don't necessarily foresee them having a fantastic chance to become an elite player. And with Hollywood Brown, I mean, it's going to be a very, very interesting situation we need to monitor. But I'm excited for y'all to hear my opinion on him in the video tomorrow. And I'm excited to hear your opinion in the comment section. Okay. But anyway, let me slide over real quick and see if we have any other general chat questions we should try to address. Okay, so Jonas is coming out, says, should I trade Robert Woods and Adam Thielen for Juju Smith-Schuster and a 2nd-round rookie pick? Here, I'll say it's really going to come down to your team construction and your team direction. If this is a 1-quarterback league, no. I mean, I want Woods and I want Thielen. I'm not even thinking about it. But if this is a super flex league where we're going to have some more value falling down to that 2nd-round rookie pick this year, and on top of that, if you're going to be a rebuilding roster, I don't mind the idea of making a move like that if you're going to be able to flip those assets to possibly help your team in the long run. But that's definitely only if you're a rebuilding roster and you can't find better value for Adam Thielen and Robert Woods. But anyway, let me point out, I mean, Nathan Bierman is absolutely killing this draft. I think he possibly has my favorite draft so far. Lamar in the 1st, not necessarily something I would have done myself, but I understand it. Dobbins at the 204, a pick that I personally love. George Kittle, 309, can't complain there. Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, Kenny Golladay, Odell Beckham Jr., and Courtland Sutton. I mean, I love that start. I mean, there are only about 2 picks there that I think we would have gone differently ourselves. So when that's the case, I mean, generally, we have to get excited about that. Okay, so Matthew coming out says, Mason, you should be the GM for the Eagles. Man, I wish I could be the GM for the Eagles. Y'all can tell. You can literally ask me. I mean, I am confident in saying that I am definitely the best Dynasty fantasy football analyst on YouTube. And I don't even think it's close in my opinion. Like, I don't care if I sound arrogant when I say that. I mean, y'all can ask me about any player that has been drafted in the past 5 seasons that went in the top, just say 4 or 5 rounds of the NFL draft at the wide receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end. I don't care. I'm going to be able to tell you where they went to college. I'm going to be able to tell you what they've done so far at the NFL level. I mean, I am just an encyclopedia for Dynasty knowledge. But try to ask me about 5 defensive players in the NFL, and I draw a blank. I don't know anything about the defensive side of the ball. So I'll say there are definitely a lot more people in this general chat that know more about just the game of football and the NFL than I do. My specialty is just Dynasty, profiling these guys and looking for their long-term outlook and looking where I think we can make a profit. That's why I've been so successful so far in Dynasty leagues. Okay. But anyway, let me go through. And Bill coming out asking Alvin Kamara for Justin Jefferson and the rookie pick 104. Who wins? I definitely prefer Justin Jefferson and the rookie pick 104. As if this is a super flex league, you're going to be getting one of the top 2 running backs or one of the top 2 quarterbacks. And if this is a 1 quarterback league, you're going to be getting one of the top 2 wide receivers or the top 2 running backs as well. So I love making that move and picking up that extra rookie pick. Okay, but anyway, we have Adam Thielen just now going off the board at the 806. Let me know what y'all think of this pick right here. If we were looking at other guys that are still available, let's go over to the wide receiver position. You have Robert Woods, Henry Ruggs, Will Fuller, Denzel Mims, Robbie Anderson, Brandon Cooks. Okay, but anyway, okay, real quick, let me slide over and try to figure out who we are going to be having to take. We are up in 2 picks right now. We don't really have any massive team needs as we have our 3 running backs in Barkley, Henry, Chubb. We have 2 wide receivers in Thomas, McLaurin, 2 quarterbacks in Goff and Stafford. So, I mean, preferably we're going to go wide receiver here. And in a win now structure, honestly, I think we have someone falling to us that we are going to be excited about. Let's see him fall. Well, hopefully, JN does not snipe us here. JN has a history of sniping us, so let's see if it happens. He decides to take Henry Ruggs. Definitely not our selection with us being a win now team. We are going to be going with Robert Woods at the 8-11, a pick that I'm excited about with how it fits on our roster now that we are chasing 2021 production and not necessarily long-term value. Okay. But there is, okay, so Noah Fant also at the 802. I'll say I love that selection as well. Noah Fant, very similar to Jerry Judy. I mean, I love the player. The question is, what is that Denver Broncos situation going to look like? I mean, are we going to have a solid quarterback answer coming in? Are they going to be able to force feed those weapons? Because you could make the argument right now that Denver has the best group of weapons in the NFL if you look at their age and you look at just how they project over the next few seasons. But I mean, they just have nobody to get them the ball. I mean, they have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. I mean, they have players to get excited about, and not much outside of that. But now we are back up on the board with the 902. So we are going to be looking at pretty much every position as we are very balanced. I mean, at this point, I think we can pivot over and maybe get some long-term upside instead of just players locked in for their production right now. And with no tight ends sticking out on the board as great values, I think what we do is we just lock in some long-term wide receiver upside in the 9th round. This is going to be with a Denzel Mims. And what is special about this pick is I think that JN was probably going to be trying to target him here at the 903. So if we can take that away from him, just makes my night. Okay, but anyway, Brandon coming in with our next donation. Thank you so much, my man. And you're saying, told all season, winner takes all. Got half the amount today from commish and was told that 2nd and 3rd get paid. Thoughts, punch him. Man, okay, this is going to be completely dependent on your relationship with the commissioner. If you have proof, if you have messages that winner takes all and you won the league and he only gave you half, I mean, I would be throwing a fit. I mean, I would be coming out here and raising hell. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm assuming maybe he is your friend. Maybe you know him in real life and you can't necessarily do anything drastic. But if you have proof on that, man, that is just straight up stealing. I mean, that is stealing. Regardless, I am leaving the league. I am probably never going to be playing with any of those guys again, specifically the commissioner in particular. But let me know what you were thinking there. Okay, so Ernest coming out says, Mason, who is Dede Westbrook, taking me on with my challenge to ask me about any of these wide receivers over the past 5 seasons. Y'all can tell my hands are up. I'm not doing any research. Dede Westbrook is a wide receiver that played for the Jacksonville Jaguars way back when they had Keelan Cole, when they had Allen Robinson. He looked exciting for some players as a younger prospect because of the garbage time fueled production that he saw from Blake Bortles and the fact that Allen Robinson was operating as the deep threat, taking the top off the defense, and he was able to get Dede Westbrook some action in yards after the catch. But Dede Westbrook clearly never amounted to anything, so really no need in talking on him. Didn't like him, did not like Keelan Cole. But yeah, Allen Robinson, clearly the stud in Jacksonville from that time. But a lot of people were excited about that wide receiver trio. Okay, so JN coming in says he was looking at Corey Davis in the 9th. Man, I should have gone to Corey Davis. I literally went with Denzel Mims because I was trying to snipe you, my man. I'm a massive fan of Corey Davis. Corey Davis honestly fit this roster a little bit more with us trying to get that production in 2021. But yeah, I was trying to go after you. I was trying to get that snipe in, but that's on me. That's on me. Anyway, Mike Gesicki going out at the 904. Okay. So Ernest coming out says, okay, if you know him, I give up. I was researching all the drafts from the past few years. Yeah, guys, I'll tell you, I am literally a Dynasty encyclopedia of any knowledge about a wide receiver, running back, tight end, quarterback that's come out. I started playing Dynasty in 2014. That is when it consumed my life. I promise y'all, I am confident. I know I sound arrogant, but I know more than anybody else on YouTube. I mean, at least when it comes to Dynasty fantasy football. I've been doing this for a very long time now. I've had a ton of success. That's why I started the channel. And I'm extremely excited to be playing with y'all as I crushed the Patreon Dynasty Leagues in 2020. Let's get more going in 2021 so I can prove myself to y'all straight up. Okay, so Noah coming in says, this is why you don't join random Dynasty Leagues. Let me see if we got clarification from Brandon on the details in that. Brandon says, it took 10 years to get in this league. Everyone said it's been winner takes all every year. People I used to be close with, but not anyone. I agree on stealing. You always pay your debts. Yeah, man, especially if y'all know Game of Thrones. I mean, a Lannister always pays his debts. But anyway, here, I mean, I think that we are going to be looking at that league and saying, you know what, why am I playing in this league? I mean, especially if the commissioner was either in 2nd or 3rd place. I mean, that is going to be something that I am pissed about. Okay, so JN coming in says, Robert Davis, go. Okay, I'm going to be taking a guess here. You got me. You stumped me. Robert Davis, I am guessing Buffalo. Let me look this up. Let me look this up. Robert Davis coming out of Steele High School? If that is true, I should be embarrassed. I went to high school right across the street from there. Let's check this out. Robert Davis, 25 years old, current team Philadelphia Eagles, Northside High School. Okay, so he did not go to Steele High School. When was he drafted? In the 6th round. Hey, JN, man, I said top 4 or 5 rounds. I did not say 6th round. We're not talking about day 3 prospects right here, man. Day 3 prospects aren't even getting scouted going into the NFL by a lot of people in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Okay, Noah's saying, Mason, you won't be winning the Flock League I'm in. Man, we will see. We will see. I've been talking trash with a ton of people in those Flock Leagues. Okay, Ian says, to the guy that said don't join random leagues, what am I supposed to join? None of my friends play fantasy football. Seriously? My answer is join a Flock League, guys. Go DM me on Patreon if you want to get in a Dynasty Fantasy Football League that I run. You play with, I play in every single Patreon Dynasty Fantasy Football League combined with all the other subscribers and all the other Patreon members of this channel. It's a ton of fun. I'm hoping to get y'all in there so I can go in there and I can crush y'all myself. Okay, yeah, JN, man, I'm calling you out on that. That was straight up cheating out here. Going after a wide receiver that was drafted in the 6th round. We ain't doing that business, my man. We ain't doing that. You said, yo, if you got that wrong, if you got that, I was dropping a 50 bump. Yeah, no, man. There's no way I was getting that. For some reason, I think I thought Buffalo just because of Gabriel Davis. Okay, real quick, let me go back to the draft. And we've had some fantastic wide receiver value going off the board right now. I mean, Curtis Samuel, Jarvis Landry, Robbie Anderson, Christian Kirk. I mean, I think I need to do a quick dive into Jarvis Landry because this is a wide receiver that I was kind of, I don't want to say making fun of people for drafting him, but I was disagreeing with y'all earlier on in the mock drafts. I was looking at Jarvis Landry as someone that I did not want to get involved with. I thought that he was being overvalued going in the 9th, 10th round, but like I say all the time, I want to hear your opinions. I like it when y'all leave comments on videos. I like hearing what y'all are thinking because in the case of Jarvis Landry, y'all changed my opinion. I mean, that was a player that I think you look at his production over the past few seasons, you realize that he provides you kind of a floor that is kind of harder to find at the position, combined with the fact that there's probably not going to be an Odell Beckham Jr. in Cleveland this upcoming year. So yeah, I mean, Jarvis Landry is a player that y'all changed my mind on. That's why I love hearing your opinions, so I can go out there and do that. Okay. But anyway, let's go through, and Ernest says I can fill in for Trey Whip. He said he has to go. Okay, real quick, how many rounds do we have left? And no, let's just let Trey auto-pick, because I think it's going to be very difficult to get someone to fill in, because right now we have Jeremy running this mock draft. Maybe if Jeremy is in the live chat, then y'all can get that situated. But anyway, Dallas Goedert at the 10:06. Really like that value there as well. Okay, so let's go. Thoughts on Darnold. Okay, real quick, Jayan says, Jayan is Jew Chesson, go. God, man, I give up. I do not know that. You're just straight up embarrassing me out here. Let me see who this is. "27 years old. When did he get drafted? When did he get drafted?" Okay, so I'm pulled up his Wikipedia right now. Okay, so man, he signed on the Washington Redskins practice squad, but he was waived on September 17th and returned to practice, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man, you're talking about practice squad players? What are we doing right now? I'm talking about top 5 drafted in NFL talents. That's like a pool of like 300 wide receivers you can pull from, my man. Okay, so anyway, we have a 2 quarterback, AJ Dillon, Cooper Kupp for the 107. Who wins? Honestly, I think I prefer the 107 in a 2 quarterback league. Okay, so let's go through and let me see. Has Clyde Edwards-Helaire been picked? Yes, I am very sorry, guys. Let me scroll up real quick. Actually, we are about to be on the clock. Let me get ready to plug in my own selection. Then I'll scroll up and show y'all the rest of the draft board. Okay, we have a clear pick if we have him fall to us at the 10-11. We will see what Jayan decides to do. As we wait, let me scroll up and show y'all the rest of the draft board. We selected at the 102 spot. So we were the team who decided to take Saquon Barkley at 102, then Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Robert Woods, and Denzel Mims. But here is the top of the draft board. Picks that stand out, in my opinion. Actually, real quick, we'll go over that afterwards. Jameis Winston goes off at the 10-10. Let me know what y'all think of Jameis Winston in the general chat right now. Let me know if y'all think he's going to be a quarterback that can make a difference for the New Orleans Saints, or if he is just going to maintain his role as the quote-unquote backup. Not really the backup, just someone who's kind of standing there on the sidelines. But anyway, let's go through, and honestly, I think our choice here is quite easy, and we are going to be going with a Devontae Parker. I'll give you all my reasoning after we see seed money pick, because that has a significant thing going with it. Okay, so I have a text from Jeremy real quick asking if we have a guy to take that spot. Yes, let me text Jeremy back real quick, and if y'all are in the general chat and you want to get in here, let me know real quick. Let Jeremy know. Let me text Jeremy real quick after we make our selection, so I don't expose his number on the live stream, so I can just split away from sharing my screen with y'all. We're just waiting for C money right now. Okay, so Jaw Webb coming out says thoughts on Laquan Treadwell coming out as rookie. Obviously, the reason that Laquan Treadwell failed is he just did not have the athletic profile to be an NFL wide receiver. He looked good on film. That's why he was selected in the first round. But with Laquan Treadwell, I mean, you just have to see wide receivers hit a minimum threshold of speed. Generally, I am not the guy chasing the wide receivers that are the biggest and the fastest, but you have to have your wide receiver possessing speed like CeeDee Lamb, someone that is not going to be the slowest guy at the NFL Combine or his pro day like Laquan Treadwell. If y'all remember, Laquan Treadwell coming out in the same class as Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, at the NFL Combine, just walking around with the backwards hat, with some chains, not doing really anything at all, not running the Combine until his pro day. And the reason was because he has no type of athleticism to his game. Okay, real quick, guys. The reasoning that I took Devontae Parker at the 10-11 instead of the player that I was considering in Evan Ingram is because you have to look at who is drafting around you. And we were going to be up in 2 picks, and you look at C money, and he had already decided to take Darren Waller at the 501. So I figured that Devontae Parker may not have had a chance to make it back to us at the 1102. So we wanted to take him there before C Money and then most likely get our 100% guarantee of Evan Ingram on the way back. But guys, we are going to continue with the mock draft. Let me text Jeremy real quick so we can get one of y'all to take one of those spots. Okay, so let me pull that up so I don't expose Jeremy's number. I'm going to tell Jeremy he can fill it in the mock draft, in the live stream if you would like. Okay. So we have Nash is cashed up there. Okay, so let me switch back over real quick. He decides to take Irv Smith at the 1103. A pick that I like. I mean, Irv Smith is someone that I think can take that year 3 jump. Someone that I invested a ton into in Dynasty formats this past offseason. I think maybe we were just a year too early, and this is the year to buy in because he is still an extremely young tight end. Last time we pulled it up, he was 22 years old. Let me double check on that. Yeah, he's 22 years old. I mean, that's the same age as the majority of the tight ends that are coming into the NFL this season, because generally at the tight end position, you see those prospects stay in college for 4 seasons because it takes so much to develop at that position where you have to learn how to be a wide receiver. You have to learn how to block in line at the same time. So when you have an Irv Smith coming out extremely young and you have him making a difference at the NFL level young as well, I mean, that is something that we need to take notice with, and that is something we need to be getting excited with, especially if you look at the Kyle Rudolph contract. I mean, Kyle Rudolph pretty much has no guaranteed money this upcoming season. But Bryan Edwards going off by Jeremy. Love the selection of Bryan Edwards. Can't necessarily... Okay, Jeremy, real quick, let me go through, and if you're in this live stream, let me just let you know I hate your pick of Raheem Mostert. I mean, I cannot get behind that given the fact that Raheem is a running back that really did not show us anything special this past year. He is an extremely old running back. I believe he's 29. Let's check this out. Let's check me. Note 28. I am wrong. I am sorry on that, guys. But anyway, he is never going to be a great pass catcher either. So I would prefer on passing on a Raheem Mostert there, taking running backs later on in the draft. But Paris Campbell going off by point guard at the 1106. Love the pick of Paris Campbell there. And I'll say we have a video coming out tomorrow where I'm talking about those third-year possible breakout wide receivers. Paris Campbell made that list, a player that I am extremely excited about. Obviously, going to be diving into that a little bit more on the video tomorrow, so no reason for me to talk about it too much here. Let me slide this over for everybody to see. Also, guys, please, this is the #1 thing that I want to hear from y'all. What are you thinking about Drew Lock currently? Let me know what y'all are thinking, and is he going to be able to be a quarterback that can maintain his starting job in 2021? Because if he can, clearly that is going to be a difference maker for anybody who gets him in a dynasty format this late. Here we have a couple auto drafts going off. Hopefully we can get those filled ASAP. Please, 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 guys, just hold on tight. Stay in the general chat. Jeremy could possibly be coming through and sending something out to get y'all in there. But what I need to hear is I need to hear your opinion on Drew Lock. Do you think Drew Lock is going to be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos? Because if so, I mean, he is quite possibly the best value in these dynasty startup drafts, given the amount of talent that he has around him. But Mecole Hardman going off the board at the 1205. Devin Singletary going off the 1206. Love those two selections. Devin Singletary, I've said this so many times, a running back that I made fun of a ton of people for drafting as high as they were last offseason. I thought that Devin Singletary was severely overvalued. But going this late when he is tied to an above-average NFL offense, as well as a rookie contract, that is definitely a spot that you want to get excited about. We are going to be up in 2 picks right here, and we have a very balanced roster. So we have 3 running backs in Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb. We have, I believe, 5 wide receivers in Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Robert Woods, Denzel Mims, Devontae Parker. 2 quarterbacks in Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, and a tight end in Evan Ingram. This is one of my favorite starts that we've had in these Dynasty mock drafts. So yeah, let's see what we decide to do with this upcoming pick. If we scroll through the board, I mean, I was really hoping that we were going to get either Devin Singletary or Mecole Hardman falling to us. Clearly, that did not happen, so we are just going to be having to look for the value. At running back right now, according to ADP, the best options are Le'Veon Bell, Anthony McFarland, Joshua Kelly, Phillip Lindsay. At wide receiver, our best options are KJ Hamler, Mike Williams, T.Y. Hilton, Lynn Bowden, Van Jefferson, Antonio Brown. At tight end, you have Cole Kmet, Zach Ertz, Hayden Hurst, Austin Hooper. At quarterback, you have Teddy Bridgewater, Taysom Hill, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, Phillip Rivers. So here, honestly, I think that we go out on a limb. I think given our uncertain quarterbacks in Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, it could make sense to take a third. So I think what we do here is we decide to take a Taysom Hill. Now, I'm not saying that Taysom Hill is going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints this upcoming year, but I think it is in the range of outcomes that we see Taysom Hill go through and get that starting job. And if that happens, we know with his rushing production, he is definitely going to be a worthwhile starter in Dynasty Superflex leagues. But the draft has been paused, so we can get 2 new members in there to take over those 2 draft spots. I'm sure Jeremy is working on that. Let me move over to my screen real quick. Please, guys, be checking the general chat. Maybe Jeremy decides to send the link there. If this does not work, we are just going to have to go through and draft with those 2 people on auto picks. But let me talk to Jeremy. Okay, so let's see what happened. Okay, let me check the general chat as well while we go through and answer this. Give some people a couple shout outs. Okay, so KFK Fantasy Football says, will you remember me when you hit 100K? Yes, sir, my man. Thank you so much for always coming out to these live streams. Noah coming out says, do you think James Robinson should go in the late first round or early second round of Dynasty? No, I think that James Robinson, with where he went in this draft, honestly, was probably about accurately priced. I mean, there's no way in hell that I'm going to have James Robinson over a Dak Prescott, a Cam Akers, a J.K. Dobbins, a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I actually go into my running back rankings from this past year's draft class, combined with the 2021 draft class. Actually not this next video, I believe in 2 videos, actually. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But James Robinson, I have him ranked about this range in the 208. Honestly, he could go behind Josh Jacobs for me. Just going to be dependent on your team direction. Okay, so Anthony coming out says, thoughts on Colin Johnson. Guys, I don't want to flex on y'all real quick, but y'all know I go to the University of Texas. Y'all know Colin Johnson went to the University of Texas for 4 seasons, and I actually had him in my psychology class. I'm sure I've told JN this. So Devin Duvernay, I was seeing him at the rec. I never saw Colin Johnson at the rec, but I saw him in psychology every Tuesday and Thursday. So yeah, I'll say I have that strong connection. And because I have that strong connection, I'm just naturally assuming that he's going to get the fantasy flock bump and he's going to have a fantastic NFL career. Because if you if you rubbed elbows with Mason Dodd, I mean, you're most likely going to be an impact player at the NFL level. I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about that. But it looks like we quite possibly have the draft going again. Let me tell Jeremy not to worry about it. Okay, so yeah, let's just keep this going. We are going to be up in 2 picks. And I'll say real quick, I think that we possibly made a poor decision here when we decided to take Taysom Hill. And the reasoning behind that is if we would have paid attention, C-Money, we would have already had Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Sam Darnold. So he was very unlikely to go with another quarterback in those back-to-back picks. So I think we made a mistake there. That is something I'm going to 100% own up to. So let's look at what we are going to be looking at. I really wish we could get a running back. I just don't see any value falling to us in this range. But yeah, I mean, maybe we end up having to reach on one next round. If we look at the wide receivers, if we try to look at what kind of fall off we are going to see there. I mean, I like the wide receiver value later. Tight end is what it is. I think what we're going to do is we're going to reach on a running back just slightly. We're going to take a Phillip Lindsay as our running back 4 in the 13th round. So yeah, let's pass on that. Let's see what falls to us in our last 2 picks. See if we can't get our backup tight end and possibly another running back or wide receiver. We have been extremely balanced so far. Okay, so John Webb says, lies, he wasn't in class every Tuesday and Thursday, LOL. Guys, I'll say real quick, yeah, I mean, with those student athletes, obviously they're not paying attention in class. But if you have not gone to college, just say in the past 10 years or so, at least at the University of Texas, how they have it is there is always a person for where those football players are taking classes. that they are sitting at the entrance of the class, and when the football player or the basketball player comes in, they get a little check mark next to their name. I've had other football players in my classes like Jordan Whittington and stuff, and you see those little checker, like they're like babysitters, just making sure they're going to class and just putting a little check mark there to see if they were there or not. So yeah, I mean, Colin Johnson was in class like the majority of the time, unless they had a game or something. Okay. But anyway, let me go through and let me see if we have any other questions. Okay, Andrew says, Broncos were unsuccessful in their quarterback experiments. Need to trade for a starter. I mean, guys, if the Broncos somehow manage to trade for Deshaun Watson, that would be absurd. I think we would see just the Denver Broncos offense go into a completely different stratosphere with those weapons that I was talking about earlier, with Jerry Judy, with KJ Hamler, with Cortland Sutton, and Noah Fant. I mean, Deshaun Watson would be able to, I don't want to say take over the NFL, but elevate his game to the point where we have not seen him before. Because if you look at Deshaun Watson and the weapons that he has had, I mean, yeah, he's had Will Fuller for 2020. He had DeAndre Hopkins in 2019 and 2018 and 2017 whenever he was healthy. But Will Fuller was mainly injured throughout the course of those seasons. So it was DeAndre Hopkins and nobody else. I think that if we saw Deshaun Watson somehow go to Denver, that would be the best skill positional group around him that we have ever seen throughout his entire NFL career. But since we took Philip Lindsay, we saw JN take our man Devin Duvernay. Obviously not surprised about that. We've seen Mike Davis, Jeffrey Wilson, Logan Thomas, and Van Jefferson all go off the board. So don't feel too uncomfortable about quote-unquote getting sniped on any of those picks coming back to us at the 14-11. Really wouldn't have been too excited to take any of those players regardless. So yeah, excited with our decision to go with Philip Lindsay in the 13th round. Okay, so JN is saying, I'm over the moon about the defensive coordinator hire for Texas. JN, I'm going to be completely honest. I saw that you sent me an extremely long message about that, but I was in Zoom lecture. I was unable to read the information that you sent me about the defensive coordinator. I'm excited to dive into it up until this point. I really don't have an opinion. I'm not a massive guy on college coaches. I don't know too much, so I can't really have a strong opinion, but I'm excited to see what you sent me. I really like the fact that you keep me up with everything that's going on at UT, as I am a very bad UT fan and that I focus way too much on Dynasty rather than the University of Texas. But anyway, let me see if we have any other questions here. Okay, so Baca coming out says, Drew Lock will be the starting quarterback next year, surely barring something crazy. However, yeah, I'd be shocked if the Broncos didn't draft a quarterback in the top 3 rounds. I mean, the thing with Drew Lock as well is Drew Lock was only a 2nd-round pick out of Mizzou, so it's not like the team has a significant investment into him, particularly. So, I mean, just so hard to evaluate the likelihood of Drew Lock being the long-term starter there. It looks like these guys right here are going to be on an auto draft, which kind of sucks, kind of ruins the draft. I mean, I hate to see that. We never have auto drafts generally. But I guess this is going to be our first mock draft. Hopefully we can come up with a system in the future to do a better job of avoiding this. Maybe we need to come down here and we need to take a note of just everybody that is auto drafting in these drafts. And then maybe just limit the amount of drafts they can get in if they continue to auto draft going forward. Maybe that is something we should do. Okay, so JN says, don't worry, it'll be Texas here soon. Yeah, man, here I'll say... Okay, so Sergio says, Ohio State fan here, feeling sad, but we weren't beating Alabama. But man, here I'll say, I mean, with Texas, it's always just hope. That's all it is. I mean, nothing outside of just hope and dreams. I mean, I was in the same class of Sam Ehlinger. I was in the same class of Tom Herman coming in, and we really never got anything going. So I don't want to speak on it too much just because I am not as smart enough to speak on it, to be completely frank. Okay, so Tia said Mason just banned the people that auto from future drafts. I think that's what we're probably going to do. I think we're not going to necessarily straight up ban them, but I am going to create a list of guys that have autoed, and then if they just say auto draft twice in a month, then that's when they get banned. But I'm definitely going to be tracking that. Thank you for the suggestion, my man. Okay. So let's go through. JN says Texas has a home and game with Alabama in 2022 and 2023, and Ohio State in 2024, 2025. If Sark flops, Texas is done. Man, here I'll say I really would have loved to see that Alabama game. But if y'all don't know, I was actually able to attend a Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire game in 2019 against the University of Texas. And that was the game, obviously, where they won the national title, where they blew out everybody. And that was the closest game LSU played the entire season. So it was a ton of fun. And yeah, probably the best game that I've ever seen outside of maybe the OU Texas game in 2019 as well, when they had CeeDee Lamb, when they had Jalen Hurts. I mean, that was an extremely exciting squad as well. But y'all can see a common theme here, where I'm more excited about the players, the teams that we are going against and their players compared to our own. Okay. So let me go through and let's see if we have any picks that we are going to be excited about making in our next two selections with the 14-11 and the 15-02. So if we were looking at the quarterback spot, honestly, we can't look at the quarterback spot. We already have three guys. We need to be definitely coming back away with another tight end. And there are so many quality tight ends available. This is why I'm recommending y'all wait as long as you can in your Dynasty startup drafts to take these tight ends, as there's still Adam Troutman, there's still Rob Gronkowski, there's still Eric Ebron, Tyler Higbee. Now, obviously, we're not excited about Gronk, would not take him here, but we would be fine taking any of Adam Troutman, Eric Ebron, or Tyler Higbee with our second to last pick. But also, after we make our last selection at the 15-02, we're definitely going to continue the mock draft, but I think I am most likely going to end the live stream. But thank y'all all so much who've decided to hang out with me the entire stream. We hit 100 likes on this live stream. Absolutely insane. I mean, we are going to continue to grow to be the fastest fantasy dynasty channel on YouTube. And it's 100% because of the amount y'all have been supporting as of late. I'm going to continue to get y'all a video every single day throughout the course of the entire offseason, because y'all are such a great audience. And yeah, I truly appreciate everybody hanging out. If y'all want to get in the next mock draft, make sure y'all come in and y'all turn the notifications on for our channel. Just hit the bell next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when we go live. And if you have the opportunity, you can jump in at the very beginning if you're available. But yeah, let's make our last two selections. So we are going to be taking either one of Eric Ebron or Tyler Higbee, whoever falls to us after JN. Possibly both are going to fall to us. And I think if in that scenario, we're going to be taking Eric Ebron, who's only 27 years old, I believe. Let me check that. Yes, Eric Ebron, only 27 years old, even though we have him. So, okay, so of course JN takes Dante Foreman. Not going to be surprised there. We're going to take Eric Ebron. I know Ebron has felt like he's been an NFL player forever, and we've been talking about him since the end of time, but still extremely young. I think Lynn Bowden's most likely going to be our selection at the 15-02 if C Money does not take him here. Outside of that, I mean, Kerryon Johnson is honestly a running back that we can get a little bit excited about based on the fact that Adrian Peterson's going to be gone. Kerryon Johnson was drafted in the 2018 draft class, so he has 1 year left on that rookie deal. So maybe we go Kerryon. I think we go either Kerryon Johnson or Lynn Bowden, depending on where C Money decides to go with his last two picks. Maybe he auto drafts. We will see. Hopefully not. Okay. But yeah, thank y'all so much, guys, for all coming out here and supporting the channel. Like I said, I'm very sorry if you're unable to get into this mock draft. Just make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure that y'all are dropping likes on the videos, because then YouTube will know that you enjoy the videos and recommend them in the algorithm. And have that bell hit next to the subscribe button. That will get you notified whenever we go live. And if you're not doing anything, you can hop in here. Quintez Cephas gets... I don't want to... Actually, I haven't realized what C Money's doing right now, because he has guys that are going off the board that are not in ADP order. He's adding players to his queue and then just leaving, so he's not making auto pick. So they're not auto picks, they're just timed out picks. There's a little bit of a difference there. Okay, now he comes in, takes Tyler Higbee. Yeah, I was going to say Quintez Cephas, I really like that selection. We are going to be taking Lynn Bowden here, a player that was drafted to the Las Vegas Raiders this season in the 4th round, then traded for a 7th round conditional pick to the Miami Dolphins. I gave up on him after that trade went through, but I mean, let me also go through real quick and show y'all this draft board. Let's pull this down. Y'all can pause. Y'all can do whatever you need to do here. Now, I know that these three people here they autoed from, I want to say, the Melvin Gordon pick on, so the top of the draft is still extremely valid. Do not be worried about that. Now, here is the front side. Let me know what your favorite team is. I love the way that we built this roster. Let me go through my own roster, where we have Saquon Barkley, we have Derrick Henry, we have Nick Chubb. at the running back spot. Those are going to be our 3 workhorse running backs. Then we have a couple running back depth pieces in Philip Lindsay and Lynn Bowden. Obviously, those are guys that we would never plan on hitting our starting lineup. Those are just guys that we think have some upside in case we need a spot fill in. Then you go to our wide receiver room, a ton of veterans that we think can make an impact in 2021 as we try to build a competitive roster right away with this team in Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Robert Woods, Denzel Mims, Devontae Parker. And then we have our quarterback room situated with Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, and Taysom Hill. Now, generally, I'm going to be avoiding Taysom Hill in Dynasty startup drafts. Generally, I think that people are going to be reaching on him a little bit higher than this. So don't think I took him here because I love the player or anything. I strictly took him here because I like the value. But yeah, thank you guys. Let me know what your favorite team is. And I will hopefully see y'all with our next live stream. If not, our next video is going to be tomorrow.